So for the intercompany stuff, we would have to enable certain features, okay, which we've already discussed earlier. So what we need to do is under the enable features, there is something called as automatic intercompany management, okay, right? So these are the things which we need to enable: automated intercompany management, right? Automated intercompany dropship, just in case if you have a dropship orders and time and expense. These are the things that we need to enable for the intercompany stuff to be working. I mean, whenever you have multiple subsidiaries, right? In that case, you actually need to enable this automated intercompany management to be able to work. And then you have to create your I'll just let me check this 1 second. We'll have to go into the subsidiaries, and there is a subsidiary elimination subsidiary that you're supposed to create. Okay. So wherever you say elimination subsidiary Babyka, this is the one that we've created. Okay. And this is another subsidiary which is created. So what these elimination subsidiaries do is, they when you create an elimination subsidiary here, it acts as an elimination subsidiary between all the subsidiaries in this level, like for Babyka, British Pound, and then India, Josh Test, Lincoln Lawyer, all these things you have, right? So it works as an elimination subsidiary over here. So if I go into my subsidiary structure, there is a subsidiary hierarchy that we can enable on our instance. So let me go there. Subsidiary navigator, you see this? This is what I'm talking about. It'll load all your subsidiaries, and it will show you clearly where you have your elimination subsidiaries. Okay, so this elimination subsidiary, this actually works as an elimination between all the subsidiaries in this level. And this elimination subsidiary that you have works as an elimination between the subsidiaries that you have at the bottom. You have Skyzone India Limited, Satyam Hardware and Software. So you should have elimination subsidiary for each level. Okay, so just in case if you have multiple hierarchy structure as you have, but usually what happens is, you won't have this structure, this Satyam Hardware and Software that you see here as a child subsidiary of Temp, right? Again, you have your Skyzone as a child subsidiary of Canada. Usually in a business scenario, you wouldn't have these subsidiaries in this way. Okay, you will just have the main subsidiary, and under that, all the subsidiaries that you see here in the Babyka, British Pound, Canada, India, Josh Test, this is how the subsidiary structure would be maintained. You will not have a sub-subsidiary structure in a normal business case. So you'll have one parent, and even if you have like 5 or 6 subsidiaries, all of them are going to be in the same level. So when they're in the same level, you would just need one elimination subsidiary, which is like the way you see here for Babyka, right? You wouldn't need multiple elimination subsidiaries in that case if you do not have this hierarchy, which is looking, this is a test instance, right? And that is how they've created this. Okay, so the representing vendors and representing customers, now these are the intercompany customers and vendors that I have created. Okay, and how do you create that? All you got to do is you go into accounting, and then under the accounting you have intercompany preferences. So when you enable your intercompany in the enable features, then you will have this intercompany preferences, and you would have certain things on the accounting preferences as well. So when you open the accounting preference, let me just go there. Let's close out the enable features. We'll bring in this view. Okay, so in the accounting preferences, for one word, do you want the intercompany time and expenses that need to be there? And the other one is, there is something called as intercompany JE auto balance receivable account and intercompany JE auto balance payables account. Okay, now these are the accounts that you're supposed to create in your chart of accounts as part of the intercompany stuff. Because if these two accounts are not enabled here, if they are not set up here, like the intercompany receivables account, payables account, if you do not select them as defaults here, then you will not be able to do the automated intercompany management. You will get an error, whenever you're trying to do the intercompany vendors and customers, when you're trying to create the purchase orders and sales orders, then you will certainly get an error because of this particular instance that you have not selected. Okay. And then you have your P2P transaction account, which is your intercompany payables account. So any chart of account that you go there, these are all the prerequisites that I'm showing you right now. Okay. That you're supposed to have. First is you need to have an elimination subsidiary. And the second one is you need to have your intercompany chart of accounts, the default receivables and payables account. These are the ones that you need to have in your system. You have to create them, right? One would be the type of accounts receivable. The other one is an accounts payable, right? These are the two accounts that you're supposed to create, and then select those two accounts here. 1000110, 10011. These are the accounts that you need to set up. Okay. Right. So that is about the accounting preferences. Now coming to your intercompany preference. So whenever you come to your intercompany preference, this is where you can select your default intercompany accounts once again. Okay. These can be different. I mean, you can select your intercompany JE balance accounts. Those two can be different, and these two can be different, but it's up to you. Whatever the business prefers, you can use the same accounts in both the cases. Okay. And there is a netting clearance account that you are supposed to create over here. I mean, that's in the chart of accounts as well. So you have to create and select it here. And then you see the representing entities. This is where you can specify what is your, what is the prefix for your intercompany vendors and customers. Once you select your prefix and then click on this automatically generate representing entities and save. Once that is done, the system automatically creates your representing vendors and customers directly. But the main challenge with this is that you will have same names for your customers and vendors as well. Okay. But then you will be able to select these things when it comes to vendors, and you will be able to select these things when you come to the customers. Okay. That is how you generate your intercompany vendors and customers. Once you do that, they automatically get created. All these vendors and customers. Let me open one of the vendors, which is the intercompany vendor that we've created. Okay, so here you would see that it is auto-generated subsidiary entity. That's what it says, and it will give you the main what is the representing subsidiary and what is the vendor ID. Okay. Likewise, when you go to your intercompany customers also, this is the intercompany customers. Okay, so this is how the customer will be created. It picks up the subsidiary. Okay, what is the representing subsidiary and what is the primary subsidiary on this? All this will be selected automatically, and it will create all the representing customers and vendors, which is an automated process on NetSuite. You don't have to create these vendors and customers manually. Okay. Right. So there are two ways of creating your managing your intercompany transactions. One is when you go to your journal entries, right? There is something called as advanced intercompany journal entry. Make intercompany journal. Sorry, not this. Let me go here. There are three ways actually. One is an advanced intercompany journal entry. One is a normal intercompany journal entry. Well, the advantage with the advanced intercompany journal entry is that it creates. There is an option which is called as. Okay, let me show this to you. We will create one, but I'm just going to show what I've done last time around. So 1 second. Okay, so if you see, what I've done is I've entered the main branch and then Babica, right? These are two different subsidiaries that I have entered here. when I'm creating the advanced intercompany journal entry. So 1 second, let's do this. Right. So there are two accounts that I have selected actually for this, main branch. Let me, just 1 second. Here, I'm going to select Babica, and let's select one of the accounts. Okay, so after doing this, what I'm doing is, this is an advanced intercompany journal entry that I've taken. There is a custom journal entry form which gets picked up for the advanced intercompany stuff. Okay, it could be, I mean, you can somebody marked it as custom, but you can select the advanced intercompany ISB journal entry as well. Okay, now once you do this, you will have your status, which is pending approval because maybe the approvals are in place, and then you have your posting period. What is the posting period based on the date, whatever date you select. Let us say I select the date as June 30th or whatever, and the posting period gets automatically selected by this. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let us take today's date. Right, and then if you want to reverse this journal entry, okay, there is a reversal date that we have enabled. You can reverse this journal entry as on May 31st if you do not want the balances to be flowing to June. Okay, so 26th May is where I'm putting in this journal entry, but then you can select a reversal date and do this as well. Now, what does this defer entry does? So this defer entry, you can select a date, and you can defer the entry based on that particular date. I mean, you can say that I do not want it to be reversed till this reversal date is done. All right. So when I select this subsidiary, the main subsidiary, and then Babica is the secondary subsidiary, and there is something called as auto balance for me. Okay. I can actually select an auto balance. All right, you see this? The vendors have gotten selected automatically. And then I have the vendor selected for Babica, which is done automatically as well. And we are eliminating, the due to do from subsidiaries have been selected like this as well. So what we are trying to do is from subsidiary main branch to Babica, right? We are purchasing something from Babica. Babica would become a customer, and then the main branch is going to become the vendor. Okay. So this is how you do this when there is an auto balance option. So if you do not go for this advanced intercompany journal entry, you have to select all these 4 entries manually when you're doing the make intercompany journal entry option. Okay. Rather than doing that, you can select your to and from subsidiaries and click on auto balance, and Netsuite does everything for you. It brings up the other 2 lines along with the intercompany vendors which are created for the respective subsidiaries over there. Okay. Right? So this is approved for posting. Now, when would these elimination journal entries be posted? Whenever you do the advanced intercompany journal entry, and when you try to close out your periods, we've discussed about closing out the periods earlier as well. So when you go to this manage accounting periods, there is, there's something called as, okay, when I go to my checklist, it's Jan 2024. I go to my checklist, and if you click on this create intercompany adjustments, when you try to close this out, that is when the intercompany journal entries will be posted. I mean, you got to lock your AP, AR, lock all. You have to perform all these things, and then click on this create intercompany manage adjustments. And when you run that intercompany adjustments, that is when the journal entries will be posted. The intercompany elimination is going to happen when you do that. This is one way of doing your intercompany stuff. Now, what is the other way? There is something called as intercompany purchase orders and sales orders. Okay, so you can create your intercompany purchase order, and there is something called as manage intercompany sales orders. So when you create your purchase order with one of the intercompany vendors that you have created, then automatically based on that you will be able to select your intercompany, you'll be able to generate your intercompany sales order. So let us do that. So on this, what we will do is under the standard purchase order form, we will select the intercompany vendor. Okay. So let me select my primary main branch intercompany vendor. For this to work out, there is a temp. What we are trying to do is main branch is my intercompany vendor, and under that temp is the subsidiary to which we are doing a business with. That is another intercompany subsidiary. Now, where has this come from? How is this picking up? If you go to your vendor, there is a representing subsidiary, and then there is a subsidiary which gets selected automatically as well on that particular vendor, and that is this subsidiary which gets defaulted. You can change this as well if you want. I mean, you can select another subsidiary and then perform an intercompany transaction over there also. So let me pull up one of the items. Let's see. Done. So this is the intercompany purchase order that I have created right now. Okay. And if you see, there is an intercompany management tab that you have your paired intercompany transaction and intercompany status. All right. So all you got to do is once the purchase order is created, you got to go to your, okay, let me approve this as well. It's in pending approval. You won't be able to find that in the other thing if it is. Okay. So let's go to the manage intercompany, and then here you would have the customer. You see this? There is a purchase order that you are able to see, which is this purchase order. Okay. We've selected intercompany service item as $576 as an amount. So if you go to this, all you got to do is you just have to carefully select your customer, because if you select any other customer, then you wouldn't be able to find the purchase order. Obviously, it's not going to show up. Okay. So you're supposed to select the temp customer, because that is what is there on the purchase order as a representing subsidiary. And then you would also get an option to select your currency. So even if it is like British pound or something, you won't be able to find your transaction that you've done. It has to match the transaction currency which is there on the purchase order. Okay, in the purchase order, if you see, the currency of this temp subsidiary is USA. Okay, only then you will be able to see it. So let me refresh this. Oh, I think it's not yet generated. Okay, you will see the paired intercompany transaction over here once you generate your sale order. So let me do this. Intercompany transaction status, put as pending. You can select your class, department, location as well, just if you want, and then you can click on generate sales order. This will generate your intercompany sales order when you do this. So all you need to do is you have to process your sales order first. So what I'm trying to do now is from main branch, I'm a vendor. My temp is a customer. So I'm trying to purchase something from the temp subsidiary, and the temp will create a sales order for that, right? Because I'm actually, sending out something to my vendor. The record has been locked by defined workflow. Somebody must have created a workflow for this then. Uh, a lot of workflows have been created, so we will have to see which workflow. Okay, let me. Test approval workflow. Purchase approval workflow, sales order approval. That's not initiating, that's fine. Testing, you'll have to close out this. Let's mark this. Test workflow. I'm just marking them all as inactive
Oh,
because
okay.
yeah,
Right.
somebody must have done these workflows. They've been testing something and they don't mark them as inactive. This is what happens when they do it. So well, I don't know what else is there. So I see sales order basic workflow that is not initiated. Sales order button. I don't know what this is. Default testing. Okay, let's do this. Right, let us try this. Do you see any other sales order approval in place? This is not initiating or that's fine. Testing required. Email field on contact. No. Purchase order approval. Okay, let's get this done as well. Purchase order approval workflow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we cannot go into each workflow and see, what these guys are doing, right? So it becomes that much difficult. Okay, let's try this again. We'll go to the processed records. Go to your manage intercompany sales orders again. Select your customer, which is temp. Currency is United States. Generate sales order. Let us see this. It's the same thing. The record has been locked by a user-defined workflow. I don't know what that workflow is. Not initiating, non-initiating. This is my preferred payment method. I don't know what this is. Employee onboarding, sales order approval. There's one more thing. Let's. That's not initiating anyways, but let's not take a chance. Let's start. Let me try that again. Oh no, something is wrong. We've marked all the work orders
Mm-hmm.
inactive already. What's employee approval? Required email field on contact. One final try. I don't know.
Probably.
This doesn't work. There is an issue with the system itself. No. User defined workflow. There's no workflow active at all. What type all, owner all, release status all, style normal. This is strange.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's happening, but this is what happens. I mean, you can create, I mean, the sales order gets created, and that sales order has to be processed just like the way we've done, the item fulfillment, and then the invoicing, the intercompany invoicing is done. And then you got to come back to the purchase order and do the normal item receipt stuff over there. Okay. All right. All right. Hold on. There could be one more reference that we are missing out on. Let's go there. Cross subsidiary fulfillment. There would be something of that sort. Let me check it. Just this is fine. This is also okay. Update the company order. That is for transfers, which is fine. Let's try this. Uh, just get it. So we will try doing this with another item, and then we'll see if that works. I don't know if it's a problem with the item setup, right? So that could be one of the reasons as well. Let's do this. Let me select the company vendors. Try doing it for temp. Complementary transfers disable the use item cost as transfer cost preference. Okay. I was actually able to generate my intercompany stuff last time around. This is the one that I've done. If you go to this view, right, you see the sales order got generated. Okay, I've taken the intercompany service item only. Okay, that's fine. Main branch temp, yeah, everything worked. Everything is the same. In fact, I don't know why is it not working this time. So if you see, this is the sales order that I've generated. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all you got to do is the process is still the same. You would create the purchase order with the intercompany vendor, and then you go into that manage intercompany sales order, generate a sale order from that. Once you do that, you will have your sales order like this. Okay, so the customer is temp over here, and then you see the intercompany status, which is paired, and there is a related intercompany purchase order for this, which is number 23, and that 23 number is this. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all
Mm-hmm.
you got to do is go to the sales order and approve it. You may not get the intercompany fulfillment for this because it is a service item that we have selected, right? So there is no fulfillment as such. The items do not go out of the inventory or anything as such. It is just you would have to approve your sales order, do the item fulfillment. If you get that, I think we are getting it the fulfill option. Okay. This is from the
Mm-hmm.
sale order, if you can save it. Now, without doing this item fulfillment, you will not be able to process the intercompany purchase order, which is there, because the other subsidiary has to send that item out of the warehouse, or they have to fulfill, even if it is a service item or whatever it is. This has to be done, right? Without being shipped, without being marked as packed, picked, and shipped, you will not be able to process the purchase order, which is already there. So I'm marking it as shipped right now, and this is the item fulfillment. If you go back to your sales order, okay, I don't see it here. That's okay. Okay, you will see that the invoicing would be ready for you. This is pending billing right now. You can generate your invoice for that. Okay, so I can
Mm-hmm.
just click on bill remaining or next bill, whatever it is. This next bill and bill remaining options you have because of the schedules. If there are billing schedules which are enabled, that is when you will have your next bill and bill remaining options. Because next bill, in the sense, you can invoice the customer for the first month, and for the second month onwards, you can do that later on, right? Uh, okay, looks like we had another error that is reached. Please enter EDI customer. This is how the intercompany sales order is processed. The invoicing is done for this. The GL impacts and all would be on the intercompany GLs that we have created, right? The basic
Mm-hmm.
ICJE GLs that we have attached with the intercompany preferences. All these things would be there. So let
Mm-hmm.
me approve this. And then we can accept the payment as well from the other subsidiary. I think this payment we would be able to do this when we actually make a payment over there on the purchase order. Okay, so let's
Mm-hmm.
get back to the purchase order. And then if you see, the receive option will be enabled for us when we have already fulfilled it over there on the sales order. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we can receive the item, which is the intercompany service item. Uh, a module does not exist. Module is not a suite scripts. Some error that we are getting. Under the temp subsidiary, do we have any locations? Okay, that could be one of the reasons. You see that there are no locations which are specified for the temp subsidiary, right? So we are not able to select a location over here, and that could be one of the reasons. But this is the overall process, Toby. This is exactly what you need to do. Even if I create a location now, this might not allow us to process this item receipt because we are creating the location after we have done these transactions, right? So that could be one of the reasons why we are not able to generate an item receipt. But simple, you do the item receipt over here and then you make a payment, right? After you making a payment, you can come here and receive the payment for what we have done through that purchase order, and that's it. The intercompany purchase order and sales order gets closed. I mean, this is a little typical intercompany management that people do, but usually
Mm-hmm.
they go for this advanced intercompany journal entry that I've shown, which is relatively easier when compared to putting in these transactions, right? So they do
Got
the,
it.
yeah. The advanced intercompany journal entries are the ones which are used. This is a earlier, I mean, in the initial versions of NetSuite, we did not have the intercompany advanced intercompany journal entry option. That is when they used to have this, purchase orders, and then intercompany management, sales orders, everything used to be done. Even for this, if you want to getting those netting done, and if you want to have those intercompany journal entries posted, the process is still the same. You have to close out the period, which is May 2024. Let's not close out that as of now because there might be some transactions which people want to do. So that's exactly what is done. And the entire intercompany process is this. One is you got to put in the elimination subsidiary. You have to create your intercompany journal entries, mark them in the accounting preferences for the auto balances with these ICJE auto balance accounts. Now, once all that is done, you can create your advanced intercompany journal entries, option number one, or you can do the uh, normal intercompany journal entries as well, wherein you will be picking up all those four possible transactions that you do over there. And then the third option, the third and final one, is the purchase orders and manage intercompany sales orders, through which you will be able to get the intercompany stuff. So this is the complete setup of the intercompany.
So when it comes to creating intercompany journal entries, because I know the process you went through, we had to like raise purchase order and all that. But what if I just want to probably just transfer make a transaction
Perfect.
between two
Absolutely. Yeah,
entities?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So without
Correct.
passing through purchase
Absolutely,
order.
absolutely. You would have the intercompany transfer order as well. Okay, when you go to your inventory, there is something called as enter intercompany transfer orders. Do you see this?
Hmm?
Okay, so this works exactly like the normal transfer orders that you have here. So within the intercompany stuff also, you will be able to do the transfer orders. Okay, you can select your two subsidiary, you can select your two location over there. Let us say we want to uh, you know send it to temp, just like the way we've done it. For the location is not that. That is the problem. You see this, the temp location wasn't there, and that is the reason we were not able to do it. So you might want to ship it to Babyka maybe. Right from the main branch, you will see the location over there. The New York is the location. You can select whatever is your, if it is pending fulfillment or pending, and then you can select the location. With this, we wouldn't know how many Apple Watches are there in the main branch, right? So if there is, that there's a quantity already available in the main branch, then you will be able to do the intercompany transfer order directly the way we are doing it here. Okay.
Okay, that no then during month end, right? So are we saying that for us to post intercompany transactions, we have to route it through purchase order? Like I can't just do a journal entry, where I debit one intercompany entity and I create another intercompany entity, or must I always go through this intercompany purchase order process, for me to post transactions with
Okay,
intercompany?
okay, okay. Yeah, you can do that. The advanced intercompany journal entry that we have specified a little while ago, right? That is exactly what you need to do for this. I mean, NetSuite has given that provision for you to go through that advanced intercompany journal entry. So that is very much possible. You will be able to do that.
Okay, so is it a separate process or how do we do that?
No, I just shown you, right? The advanced intercompany journal entry. That's the same one.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Make advanced
absolutely.
intercompany journal entry.
Absolutely. And you would have to enter your to and from subsidiary and then click on auto balance. It will automatically balance out and create an intercompany journal entry for you.
Okay, good, good. Okay then. All right.
Yeah, yeah.